Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I'll thank Amit for setting the context perfectly. He's already given you an overview of what are the energy efficiency measures which can be adopted in various factories and units in the manufacturing processes. What I would be taking you through is a slightly different angle. I would like to tell you about what your brands and your buyers would like to know from you, what they are doing with respect to energy efficiency, and how you can package your initiatives correctly so that they can be leveraged to gain more business. We work very closely with a lot of international brands, and sustainability is now the new buzzword for most of the textile brands, especially in Europe and North America. Most of them have, you would all obviously know, they have a huge supplier base in India. And here we would like to walk you through what the brands are doing and how you can leverage on your capacities, capabilities, and attract more buyers. Just to give you a brief outline, as I mentioned, I'll be talking about energy efficiency and sustainability from a brand's viewpoint, the programs that the brands are developing, how energy efficiency can be leveraged by the OGTC manufacturers, and certain case studies and live examples of how suppliers have leveraged energy efficiency and seen growth in their units. Before we move on, let's do a reality check and take a stock of where we are. The global textile and apparel industry stands at about $700 billion today. It is poised to grow to about $800 billion by 2015. The reality is that the energy prices are rising. We are all facing water scarcity. Other natural resources like land, energy, everything is getting scarce, and compliance requirements are becoming more stringent. Now, while the industry holds a huge promise of generating about 12 million additional jobs by 2012, there is a simultaneous pressure on the kind of working conditions, on the labor issues, on whether minimum wages are followed, etc., on whether environmental norms are being met or not. So what are the main drivers for sustainability? As I mentioned, sustainability now has the conversation around this whole issue of sustainability and energy efficiency, especially in the supply chain, has been very nebulous till now. It's been all hazy. People didn't till very recently know whether there existed a business case or not. Most of them took it as corporate social responsibility or CSR, what we know as. However, now sustainability is coming into mainstream business and everyone is seeing that it's a profitable case, that it makes business sense, and hence, though slowly but steadily, we would see that sustainability would become a mainstream business construct. Now, as I mentioned, what are the basic drivers, especially for brands and buyers, and therefore also for suppliers? The primary driver is brand reputation and risk management. The compliance requirements are becoming stricter, whether it is at a product level or at a process level. So whether it is due to the country norms where production units are there, or whether it is due to country and international norms where your buyers are there. So you can take, for example, the REACH regulation in the EU, or you have your own ETP regulations in India in the particular clusters. So the compliance is, of course, a major driver for sustainability. Secondly, it's about increasing scarcity of natural resources. It is a fact which we all need to wake up to. Very soon we would start attaching a price to clean air and clean water if we haven't started doing that already. Land, of course, is very scarce, as we all know. So taking into account the fact that all the major requirements or what form inputs of our production processes, like energy, water, land, and other natural resources, are becoming scarce. So unless we wake up and do something about it, very soon we would all be out of business. The last but not the least, the main driver for sustainability may not be so relevant as on date in the Indian market, but definitely so in the international market, which is the consumer pull. Now, this is more relevant, why I said not in the Indian market, is because the consumer in North America and European nations are now beginning to ask some very strict questions and very tough questions. They would like to know what is the source of the apparel that they are going to buy, what is the source of the t-shirt that they just picked up off the rack of Target. They would like to know what was the water consumption, whether sustainable business practices were used or not to produce that particular cloth. So in all these, to achieve all these goals of sustainability, energy efficiency does play a major role. As I mentioned, let's look at some of the actions that major international brands are taking to promote energy efficiency within their supply chain. You would all have heard of these brands. So the Supplier Energy Efficiency Program of H&M focuses primarily on about 100 to 120 major most suppliers of H&M across the globe, and they intend to increase the energy efficiency and set emission targets for all these suppliers by 2012. H&M also plans to source at least 20% of their energy from renewable energy sources by 2020. The social and environmental responsibility program of Patagonia goes just beyond its sewing factories to include mills that supply raw materials also. So we increasingly see a larger vertical integration. It's not just the main supplier, it's not just the last mile supplier which is supplying the finished garment to the brand, but they would also like to see down the value chain what are the sustainable practices, what are the sourcing practices, what are the policies and issues being followed with regards to energy efficiency and sustainability. Well, we all know Walmart and the Supply Energy Efficiency Program of Walmart. It considers about 200 factories in China, and they have been mandated by Walmart to improve their energy efficiency by 20% per unit of production by 2012, over, of course, a baseline of 2007. Adidas has developed a tool for environmental assessment of materials called TEAM, which was created to ensure a common process for assessing the environmental impact of materials across the group. There are brands which are not only just mandating their suppliers to follow certain practices, but are also helping them by creating these tools and knowledge management processes. So they don't want to leave their suppliers in lurch without actually telling them what they need to do. Similarly, CNA asked all its suppliers to reduce the energy consumption at their manufacturing sites by 20% by 2011. This was an initiative taken by CNA in 2009. What I was mentioning about the knowledge management processes, so CNA took this seriously and created an internet-based platform where the supplier firms could exchange their ideas of energy-saving processes and the methods that they used at their respective manufacturing units. Gap also has an energy conservation policy, and it intends to reduce its GHG emissions. A few of the other main brands like Inditex launched an energy and environmental integration program under which they have particularly laid emphasis on the reuse of renewable energy at most of their logistics centers, and of course the application of energy efficiency processes. The Otto Group, under its climate protection strategy, again encourages the use of renewable energy, especially solar panels and wood chip fired heating systems, which requires a little high initial investment, but when buyer mandates it, you really need to take some tough calls there. Timberland, which intends to make its operations carbon neutral, has a target of utilizing at least 60% of its energy requirements through clean energy or renewables by 2015. Marks & Spencer's, which is again a very well-known brand for its sustainability practices, under its Plan A, has committed to become 25% more energy efficient and powering their stores with green renewable energy. IKEA also, the suppliers under its sustainable energy efficiency program, its suppliers have already achieved reductions of 150 gigawatt hours of energy and 40,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Now, all this was mentioned to you to give you a flavor that when your brands are having such stringent requirements and they are going down their value chain, the suppliers do need to be aware to figure out what all they can do to gain more leverage with their brands and buyers. Now, let's take a view on how the brands are thinking about energy efficiency. What are the 4 basic steps that they follow in their process chain? First is, of course, they need to be convinced that they need to undertake any such programs of energy efficiency, of sustainability. They need to be ready internally. They need to choose the suppliers they want to work with. And of course, then catalyze the whole program and catalyze their suppliers. Sometimes they do take into account, they do take the help of third-party consultants. They need to make the appropriate introductions. They need to ensure that the suppliers are aware what is the main goal of the brands, why they're doing it. They need to be convinced that it is beneficial for their operations. And of course, then when the brands set certain commitments, the suppliers need to be in line with them so that they can help the brands and themselves achieve those targets. The next step is, of course, facilitating the progress. And as I mentioned earlier, brands don't want to leave their suppliers in lurch. They do create tools, whether it is an energy management tool, whether it is a knowledge management system, whether it is a tool for assessing the environmental impact of materials. All such tools are created by many brands and shared with their suppliers. The brands also help their suppliers to factory walkthroughs, energy audits, do baseline studies. We are currently working with 2 major brands, European brands, who intend to do similar things with their Indian supply chain. And of course, last but not the least, how the brands can enhance the impact across the supply chain of all these sustainability measures that they wish to undertake. Now, if we take into consideration energy efficiency, what are the synergies between the buyers and suppliers, and what can we leverage on? Till very recently, most of the US and European companies were implementing energy efficiency practices, but had limited them to their internal organization. They had not taken it to their supply chain. Now, as per UNIDO, the buyers play the most crucial role in catalyzing energy efficiency within their supply chain, because they provide insight and orientation to suppliers with regards to energy management and helping them troubleshoot, because they give the first knowledge in case it is lacking at the supplier's end. They offer information tools and enable suppliers to make better decisions on their own. So they would do the initial handholding, but they don't intend to dictate the buyers all the time. They also introduce incentives that make energy efficiency more attractive to the suppliers. I have already mentioned about the Walmart case study. Though this is all good from the buyer's perspective, but it is seen that the suppliers are kind of not so comfortable in adopting a lot of these measures. Of course, there is a high cost involved. So apart from the cost aspect, they also lack the energy management programs, in-house energy experts. There is a certain lack of interest by management as they do not see immediate short-term value in it. All this said and done, everyone needs to realize that, as I had mentioned, though it is a slow process, it is coming. And if we need to talk about long-term sustainability of our factories, of our brands, of our products, we do need to take into account these risks, which right now may seem short-term, but very soon they'll come knocking at our doorstep. How can suppliers use energy efficiency as a brand differentiator? What are the advantages that they would gain out of it? First and foremost, they would actually achieve the preferred supplier status with leading brands and buyers. Now, if your factory or your unit or your company is known to be energy efficient, if you can show to the brands the kind of savings you've achieved by applying small changes to the processes, you not only gain traction with your brand, but also with the others who are looking at more energy efficient suppliers. So it not only helps you gain market share, but also acquire new customers. Of course, enhanced advertising and exposure. As I had mentioned in my outline, I'll be discussing a few case studies. Your company could become the case study which would be discussed in a lot of other presentations by brands and by consultants. Improve communication with consumers and employees. Of course, there is no business sense in undertaking any activity unless it gives you cost savings. Of course, increased environmental awareness, which should also take into account the compliance readiness and the compliance requirements, which are getting more and more strict by the day. And of course, access to global standards and initiatives. We'll take up about 3 case studies. The first being Brandex Casual Clothing, which is located in Sri Lanka. This unit has reduced its carbon emissions by 75%, energy use by 40%, and water use by nearly 60%. And it's the first factory in the world to receive a LEED Platinum status. The Brandex Eco Center in Sri Lanka became the first apparel manufacturer in the world to get ISO 50001 certified. This not only specifies requirements for establishing, implementing, and maintaining, but also improving an energy management system. MAS Exports in Thuruli, this is also located in Sri Lanka, and it is supposed to be green from the very ground to the bottom up. So they've used compressed earth bricks to construct their factories, which actually don't require any kiln burning. The rooftop is covered with grass and medicinal plants, which actually cut down the amount of heat entering the building, and therefore the requirement of artificial cooling technologies. The USP there is, I'll touch upon this very briefly because I know Apurva will be talking more about solar technology. This particular unit, they have put up a 25.6 kilowatt solar plant, and they generate about 41 megawatt hour of electricity per annum. They have, of course, reduced their carbon emissions by about 41,000 tons per annum. This, as a result of this initiative, this site was one of the first green model factories, which is being planned by Marks and Spencers under their Plan A, which will utilize sustainable building materials and use renewable energy as a percentage of their total energy requirement. Of course, there are challenges associated with taking any major initiatives like this. First and foremost being the capital cost. And second being, there was a detailed design requirement. Of course, there are site-specific challenges which do come around. But what I want to tell you is that nothing is impossible. And if a particular brand or supplier can do it, well, depending on the economic feasibility and the conditions available, others can also follow. Coming closer home, I'll take an example of a unit based in Tamil Nadu, SNQS International. They were the first apparel factory and amongst one of the first 100 to get a green certification under the LEED program of the Indian Green Building Council. They have adopted a lot of energy efficiency and energy conservation methods. So the standard ones like installing energy efficient CFL lighting, electronic choke and servo motor equipment, which led to about 43.5% decrease in energy consumption. Also, they have designed their unit in such a way that about 78% of the floor area of indoor spaces gets natural lighting. They have, the forced cooling requirement is reduced because most of the openings in walls have insulations of thick glass wool and aluminum foil. Another very interesting initiative which they have undertaken, 90% of their sewing machines are provided with a CFL facility right above that particular sewing machine. So it is a desk by desk control. So if a particular sewing machine is not being used and a worker is not there, they can just switch off that particular light above the top of their sewing machine. Sounds simple, but it is very effective. Now, what there is not only the onus of undertaking all these initiatives doesn't only lie on the suppliers. The government of India also has undertaken and established certain policies which are there to facilitate action. Of course, there are institutes like GIZ who are facilitating action and are helping the suppliers undertake these steps and initiatives. So the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India, has adopted a cluster development approach. Now, this is a key approach to enhance productivity as well as competitiveness and ensure capacity building of small and medium enterprises. Why the cluster approach? Because as Amit also mentioned in his presentation, there needs to be increased awareness among financial institutions as to how and why it is important for them to give loans and commercial debt to such initiatives related to energy efficiency undertaken by small and medium enterprises. Having a clustered approach decreases their transaction costs and would in turn help them serve these micro enterprises in a better fashion. The objectives of this MSME scheme funded by the Government of India are primarily to support sustainability and growth of these enterprises by addressing common issues such as improvement of technology, skill, market access to capital, which seems to be a very important point, and also to build capacity for self-help groups and upgradation of associations, etc. Other than these, the objectives also include to create and upgrade infrastructural facilities in the new and existing industrial areas and clusters, and to set up common facility centers for training, R&D, raw material depot, effluent treatment, etc. Now, through this, I just wanted to give you an overview of what is currently happening in the world out there. It is up to you to leverage your current processes and initiatives, package them in the correct fashion so as to gain more traction from brands and from buyers across the world. I hope this was useful and I'll welcome any questions.